you do have a mobile, if you'd like to put it on silent, please, thanks. Right, welcome back to Thomas with God's 7,000-year calendar of creation. Thomas shares his extensive research derived from the Bible. The 7,000 years doesn't relate to the age of the earth, evidently. Also, Thomas' talk doesn't align with any mainstream religion either. What's in it then? Well, quite a lot, apparently, because there's part 2 next week. So please welcome Thomas.
Evening, folks. I can normally guess how the talk's going to go by looking at the audience. Start the car off with this, Stu. So, you'll have to bear with me. I'm going to go through this as I see fit. If you can leave your questions till the end, or maybe when I finish the first half, ask me questions. If you bear with me, I'm going to read you... See, this whole book, by the way, this is the Holy Scripture. This is the law. There's only one version of the law. Yeah. This is the authorised version, which you can take into your courts. Right? Yeah, this is the authorised by the king that you can take into the court and read from. Right? And it has to be taken notice of. Okay, if you are in your right capacity. But even then, judges might not take any notice of it. They will take judicial notice of you if you're in your right capacity, but you might not get the benefits, but you will certainly not get any liabilities when you walk in with this capacity. I'll tell you more about that maybe later or next week. So I'm going to read a page and a half. Would you mind me doing that? Nobody? Okay. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament, and divided the waters which are under the firmament from the waters which were above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, capital H. And the evening and the morning were the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together unto one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, capital E. And the gathering together of the waters he called seas, capital S. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth grass, the herb yielding seed, and the fruit tree yielding fruit, after his kind, whose seed is in itself upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass and herb yielding seed, after his kind, and the tree yielding fruit, whose seed was in itself after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven, to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be for lights in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. And God set them in the firmament of the heaven, to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And the evening and the morning were the fourth day. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creature that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven." And God created God created great whales, and every living creature that moveth, which the waters brought forth abundantly after their kind, and every winged fowl after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let the fowl multiply in the earth. And the evening and the morning were the fifth day. And God said, Let the earth bring forth the living creature after his kind, cattle and creeping thing, and beast of the earth after his kind. And it was so. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind, and everything that creepeth upon the earth after his kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, Let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. And God blessed them. And God said unto them, Be fruitful and multiply, and replenish the earth, and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, over the fowl of the air, and over every living thing that moveth upon the earth. And God said, Behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree, yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. And to every beast of the earth, and to every fowl of the air, and every creeping thing upon the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for meat. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and the morning were the sixth day. Thus the heavens and the earth were finished, and all the host of them. And on the seventh day God ended his work which he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in it he had rested from all his work which God created and made. And then it goes on and says, these are the generations of Adam. Right. And that's where we're going to stop at the present moment and try to break that down and analyse and see what the heck's going on with all that. Well, you probably heard this proverb before. Everybody seems to know it. Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it. Your government knows that. That's why you go to school dead early. Right. Our gracious Queen, to keep your majesty ever mindful of the law and the gospel of God as the rule for the whole life and government of Christian princes, we present you with this book, the most valuable thing that this world affords. And the moderator shall continue, here is wisdom, this is the royal law, these are the lively oracles of God. Right, now we've got 7 days. Now, I've missed a bit off there because we've got a problem with the slideshow, but a couple of the slides before going to day one. One of the slides says, Mark Twain, one of his quotes, there are 2 days which are the most important in a man's life. The first day is the day he's born, and the second day is finding out why. They're the most 2 important days. Now, I'll go into this because it's on everybody's mind at the present moment. Bankruptcy. Anybody here who's gone bankrupt, you don't have to put your hand up, right? But I'm going to be talking about bankruptcy next week. Does anybody have an idea what it actually means? Well, according to Black's Law 4th edition, bankruptcy is defined as originally and strictly a trader who secretes himself for the reason of defrauding his creditors. That's what bankruptcy is. In other words, you're hiding yourself away so that you're not going to pay your creditors. Okay. I was looking again at the Lord Dictionary and this go hand in hand, by the way. You won't be able to understand this book unless you got yourself a Law Dictionary, right? I was looking at the Law Dictionary and I was going through the letter A, and there's 6.5 pages on the definitions of A. And I come across Anno Mundi. Does anybody know what Anno Mundi means? It means the year in which the world was created. And I'll tell you when the world was created. It was created in 4004 BC. Wow. That's in the law book. That's in the Law Dictionary. That's the definitive day of the world being created. Not the earth, the world. Two different things. I've said this before. The earth's been here for millions of years. Probably so is man. Right? But the world was created 6,022 years ago. According to the Law Dictionary. Now, I'll talk more about the Bankruptcy Act next week and the Registration Act and all that sort of stuff. But next week's going to be about showing you how this relates to present day. And this, what day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6 is in relation to what the system that we've been in and what the importance of day 6 is. Let me ask anybody here, have you got dominion over your own property? Has any man got dominion over their own property? Any man? Have you got dominion over your own name? No. Okay, so God said, let there be light, and there was light. And God saw the light that was good, and God divided the light from the day, and God called light day, and the darkness he called night, and the evening and the morning were the first day. So he created light that was brought in to the world. And let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. And God made the firmament and divided the waters which are under the firmament from the waters which are above the firmament, and it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, capital H, important. And the evening and the morning were the second day. So this thing called the firmament, what's that? Well, I'm not sure whether I've got it in this, but you should have a look at the word firmer in your Law Dictionary and find out what it means. Because we're getting messed in our heads, by the way. Firmer meant. Meant is of the mind. When you see meant on any word, it means it's of the mind, right? And it's all a mind game. Let the waters under the heaven be gathered together. I need to express to you now what waters are. Waters are the people. That's what water is. That's why it's called the Holy See. Right? So you see waters in the Bible. You know, Moses parting the waters. He's parting the people. But we'll come to that in a minute. All right? And he called the dry land earth. And the gathering together of water he called seas, and God saw that it was good. So it was good that he separated the waters from the land, the dry land. Let the earth bring forth grass, herb yielding seed, fruit yielding tree, fruit after his kind. After whose kind? On the third day, God said, let the dry land appear. Appear as what? Dry land. Appear. Let the dry land appear. And nothing as it appears as what it should be so. Anyway, so the dry land appeared. You gathered water, gathered the... Yeah. Is that okay? The dry land appeared, gathered water, seeds, earth, grass, and herb and fruit. And then, on day 4, God said, let there be lights in the firmament of the heavens to divide the day from the night. I've read this to you before. So, he created 2 great lights, one to rule the day and the lesser light ruling the night. And he also created stars on the 4th day. On the 5th day, he created great whales, fowl, Oh, sorry, no, he let the waters bring forth abundantly moving creatures that hath life, and fowl that may fly above the earth in the open firmament of the heaven. Well, we still haven't worked out what this heaven is yet. Right, but don't think none of you have been to heaven, because you have. Right. In which the waters brought from after their kind, and winged fowl to his kind. God saw that it was good. And he blessed them, saying, be fruitful and fill the waters in the seas. Fill the waters in the seas. That's the people in the Holy See. Right? Because he divided the dry land from the waters. Dry land, in other words, are you water or are you land? Because God did create Adam out of the dust of the ground, did he not? No, he never created him, he formed him. No, not split. Every word is important. And every capitalised word is important. There's no mistakes in this book. There's no mistakes in this book. I'm not splitting hairs. He formed Adam. Anyway. So he let the waters bring forth moving creatures that had life, or hath life, and fowl flying in the heaven, and God created great whales. Does anybody know what a whale is? There's a legal definition for a whale. Don't take my word for it. A whale is a royal fish, the head being the king and the tail being the queen. Oh, wow. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind. So now we've gone from let the waters bring forth to let the earth bring forth living creature after his kind, cattle, creeping thing, that's your government, and the beast of the earth, which are the nations. It tells you that quite clearly in the Bible if you read it. And God made the beast of the earth after his kind, and cattle after their kind. Everything creeps. God saw that it was good, and God said, let us make man in our image. Whose image are you made in? Anybody answer that?
God's according to that.
No? Well, let's have a look at it again. Where is it? Let us make man in our image. Okay. That it is, yeah. So let us make man in our image. So man must have been in something else's image.
Why is it a capital L?
Where are we?
Originally the word's Elohim.
No. Let us make man in. Oh, that's just the typing out that. It doesn't, I don't think it says in there. Right. So let us make man, not let us create man. Let us make man. Because he created, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth, right? Let us make man. There's man over there. Bring him over here and let us make man in our image, after our likeness. Whose image are you made in? Well, I'll tell you. You're made in the image of your nation. Every one of you has got a birth certificate, have you not? And that is an image of you, is it not? You all carry it. You all have driving licenses, passports, national insurance numbers and tax numbers and all this sort of stuff. You're made in the image of your country.
Nobody did when that.
Oh, hold on a sec. Let me wait until I finish till the end, please. We can get sidetracked here. I'm trying to get to a point. Right. You carry the image of your nation, do you not? Does anybody got a birth certificate? We're going to birth certificates next week, by the way, right? Because it's illegal to register your child. I don't know whether you know that, but it is, right? So he's making man in his own image, after his likeness, and let them have dominion. Well, who's got dominion now? Virgin Railways, Scottish Power, Sefton Council, Fyle Council. Who has the dominion? The Crown. Because all property is vested in the Crown, is it not? It tells you that on the Crown website. All property is vested in the Crown. So, and they've got dominion. Or that thing which doesn't exist has got dominion. It's not real. We see things that aren't there and we can't see things that are there. We see a man knocking on the door saying, you give me some money, otherwise I'm cutting your leg off. Really? Do I owe you money? How much do I owe? Well, you owe Scottish Power. Oh, do I? Who's Scottish Power? Scottish Power is in there. Your legal system is based on what goes on in there. Anyway, let's smash the place up. So, after the 6th day, God saw everything he'd made, and behold, it was very good. And the evening and morning with the 6th day. Right, now, how does this relate to the times that we're in now? Well, we are on the 6th day right now, and God is starting to create man in his own image. Right? This is the 6th day, and we're right at the back end of the 6th day. Now, I'm not a Jehovah's Witness. I'm not starting my own church off. I'm not asking you to come and join me and give us 10% of your income and all this sort of stuff. So please don't think I'm here trying to get you to join a club. I'm not. I'm here to tell you that what you've been taught and why you all are, well, some of you certainly are, but why most of us have turned our back on this book and the idea of God. The very idea of a creator is obnoxious to lots of people, and the very idea of a good creator and a good saviour and a bad saviour is pathetic to some of you. And also, well, hold on a sec. Yeah, there was a war and somebody sitting in somebody else's place and all this sort of stuff, and Satan this and Lucifer that and Jesus Christ this and Jesus Christ that. Well, there's a war, as I say, the war is on your mind. I've spoken about things like subliminals in the past, and I've brought to light over all that sort of stuff. I said, well, can you see it now? No, I can't see it. I remember there was a lady, it took up 20 minutes when I had that picture of the flowers with sex on it, and it took 20 minutes before she actually seen it, and she went, wow, I can't see anything else now. Well, I'm trying to bring to light to everybody here, it's time to start looking at this book, and it's time to start thinking, hold on, we've got a creator who's given us a load of laws here, right, and said, follow my laws and this will happen. But if you don't follow them, you're in the crap. But anyway, we're gonna go further. Right, see this? It is not illegal to use a legal name. It is not, it's unlawful, but it's not illegal. Because your system relies on you using a legal name. So whoever's put that together, right, either is a blind fool or there's big money out there putting these posters up that are deceiving everybody. There's something going on with this. I don't know who's involved, but I'm telling you, there's big money behind this. Right, now, prime site, wow. One site, the one eye, we know all about that, don't we, on the pyramid. The one eye on the pyramid, that's to do with what it's to do with. But the city, have you any idea how much it costs to put something like that? Now, that was on Carnforth service station on the M6. Have you any idea how much it costs to do that? An absolute fortune. To advertise on that medium. I mean, just to send a fella around there to put the poster up is 200 quid. And then you've got all the typesetting of the poster and the printing out of it and all that sort of stuff. And of course, it's got to go through the ASA, the Advertisers Standards Association, right? Otherwise, Prime Site would not let it on one of their posters. So you have to get permission off them. Prime Site would look like, whoa, I've got to get in touch with the government with this. Hang on, Tony Blair, Gordon Brown, or whoever it is at the time when it come out. Can we have your permission to put that up? Yeah, it's no problem. There's massive amounts of money gone into that. Where's that money come from? Do you think it's from your little local free man? No. It's thousands upon thousands to get that sort of stuff put up. And of course, there we go. And there's that ride in Disney. How sick and perverse is that? You know, these are all slides that I've picked up. And she's doing this, you know. And I don't know whether there's any members of the audience who know what that means, but, you know, or think they know what that means. Now, hey God, I've just got one question to ask. Is that the best you could do, or could there be more to it? Is this the best that could happen? Bailiffs pinching people's cars, kicking families out of houses, people getting electricity cut off, people starving all over the world, people lying in gutters and shop doorways, people in Liverpool getting moved on because they're trying to make a bed for themselves in a doorway somewhere because they've got nowhere else to stay and they're begging on the streets. So we've got this great and powerful, wonderful God, and he's happy with the way things are. You know, so all this happened in history, didn't it? No, it didn't. There's more to it. You know, maybe we've been educated by nasty, perverse, greedy, thieving, alien tutors who look the other way, and that we have to make the best of what we have, and that there is no more, and creation is over, and God says, that's all, folks. Father Chinnicky, 50 years in the Church of Rome. There are several imposing ceremonies at the ordination of a priest, and I will never forget the joy I felt when the Roman pontiff, presenting to me the Bible, ordered me with a solemn voice to study and preach it. That order passed through my soul as a beam of light, but alas, those rays of light were soon to be followed as a flash of lightning in a stormy night by the most sudden and distressing darkness. When holding a sacred volume, I accepted with unspeakable joy the command of studying and preaching its saving truth. But I felt as if a thunderbolt had fallen upon me when I pronounced the awful oath which is required from every priest. I will never interpret the Holy Scriptures except according to the unanimous consent of the Holy Fathers. So they cannot teach you what this book is about. They've took an oath. That's frightening, that, isn't it?
Plus they don't use that version anyway.
Sorry?
So the Catholics don't use the authorised one. They hate it.
Yeah, I know. That's why you've got your revised version out and why you're getting other versions. But having said that, it doesn't matter which version you use when you're able to read and interpret what's going on. It doesn't matter what words they replace when you understand.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Well, let's not get into an argument about it then. Right, okay, let's take a good closer look at this 7-day calendar of God's creation. See, we see more than we've been trained to do with a mind untrained in trivium and quadrivium, and looking at allegories and rhetorics. Who knows what we may interpret? In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. That's the foundation of all law. The first written rightful claim of ownership. Not I claim this land in the name of a king, spoken by many explorers across the ages like Christopher Columbus, Vasco da Gama and all the rest of them. But more on that in part 2 next week. Be not ignorant of this one thing, that one day is with the Lord as 1,000 years, and 1,000 years is as one day. So we've got 6 days of creation, so that's 6,000 years. Day 1, he allowed light to come into the world, dividing the light from the darkness. He saw the light was good and he called it day, and the darkness he called eve. So if daylight was good, it follows that darkness was evil. Yeah, would everybody agree with that? Nobody disagree? Good. Day 2, let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, to divide the waters from the waters. Waters above separate from waters below. Firmament equals heaven. That's what he called firmament. He called the firmament heaven. And the waters under the heaven gathered together and let the dry land appear. Dry land he called earth. Gathering the waters he called sea. Well, lo and behold, in day 3, it's around 2,500, was when the floods appeared. If I might get that right, just hold on a sec, let me get my calendar right. No, Moses appeared, that's right, Moses with his laws. Right? So the dry land appear as what? You've got to ask yourself that question. Leave that one with you till next week. And the fruit tree yielding fruit after his kind, after whose kind? Whose seed was in itself, and it was good, and even the morning with the third day. He made 2 great lights and set them in the firmament of the heaven to give light upon the earth, dividing the day, which is goodness, the greater light from the night, evil, the lesser light, for signs and for seasons, for days and for years. He also made the stars. Okay, so on day 4, these 2 lights appeared. Well, hold on a sec, we go back to day 1. Here's what he did on day 1. And God said, let there be light, and there was light. That was day 1. So why is there another 3 lights? No. No. Well, where's the light come from if the sun and the moon wasn't there on day 1? Well, we're going to we progress in that, but in the second half, what time do you want to break?
Around about 10 minutes. Yeah, 10 minutes from now.
10 minutes, okay, great. So, two lights, the greater light to rule the day, to rule the goodness, and the lesser light to rule evil. Well, hold on a sec. So there's goodness and evil in the world, and he's got one light, which is the greater light, and a lesser light. Well, the back end of the 4th day, this guy appears, and he starts going around healing people and making the blind see. Even the blind that weren't blind, he made them see. You read the scripture, there's a guy there, he says something like, I thought I could see, but I couldn't see, and you made me be able to see, so I was blind mentally. Couldn't see what was going on. So his name was Jesus, right? And right at the bottom end of the 4th day, he appeared. At the beginning of the 5th day, he died off. Right? He was born 33 AD, and at the start of the 5th day, he'd murdered him. And let that be for sign. Well, who's the lesser light? Let the waters, day 5, okay. So we'll let the people now bring forth moving creatures that hath life. So, waters are going to bring moving creatures that hath life. Not waters are going to breathe the life into the moving creatures. The moving creatures have already got life in them. Let the waters bring forth. And that hath life. And fowl that fly above the open firmament in the heaven. You've been given this idea of heaven being something completely different to what it actually is, and seas and waters. Okay. He created the great whales, the royal fish which the head is the king and the tail is the queen. And every living creature that moveth, that the waters have brought forth, and winged fowl after his kind, and bless them, be fruitful and multiply. So, the waters brought forth winged fowl. What the heck's that all about? Do you see birds flying? Yeah, you see the odd bird flying in the water, but they're not fowl, are they? They're just water birds. Fowl is something different. You see, he makes a distinguish between fowl and bird. Birds seem to appear later on when he says Babylon is fallen, and become the habitation of every hateful bird. But what are all the politicians doing now? They're tweeting. Birds tweet, don't they? And the politicians, oh, let's be honest, they are bloody hateful. There's not a lot of them I like, let's put it that way. I'm not saying I hate them, but they've got their place in the world. But they're certainly not doing you any favours. And of course...
I'm assuming the fowl is F-O-W-L, that's just a typo.
F-O-W-L, yeah. Well, they stench like foul, the politicians, but... And they're starting to stink even more now, aren't they? I mean, let's be honest about it. So the waters bring forth. Now, day 6, let the earth bring forth. Let the earth. Well, don't forget, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. It doesn't say anything about waters, does he? Does he say he created the waters? No, he says, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. Yeah, interesting, eh? Perhaps there's something going on here that we don't really understand. So this time, on day 6, on day 5, which is 1,000 years ago, or just over 1,000 years ago, he starts letting the earth bring forth living creatures. Beasts, cattle, creeping thing. And then let us make man in our 2,000, hang on, yes, yeah, the last millennia. Let us make man in our image. So maybe in the last 1,000 years, God has made some men in his own image. And maybe there are those people out there that are made in the image of God who are above the law of your local governments and stuff like that. Maybe those ultra-rich people, right, that you don't hear about. Maybe they are made in the image of God. Maybe the Industrial Revolution came about just after this Bible was translated into English. And maybe that's why the English have gone on to conquer the world since the 1500s. Maybe, I don't know, a bit of a coincidence, I think, anyway. Okay, so we rest. These are the generations of the heaven and the earth when they were created in the day the Lord God made the earth and the heavens. Timothy 2. Study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth. Dividing the word of truth. So it's in 2 parts. Right, okay. God formed man, dust of the ground, breathed into his nostrils and became a living soul. And he placed him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it. Have dominion. This is day 1. And I think we'll stop there till the second half. Otherwise, I'll be running ahead of myself. Thanks for listening. I hope to see you back in the second half. If you're not back, I understand why. It's a subject that is only meant for, well, not many of us, let's put it that way. But stop thinking about this Lord God, this God, as what you've been taught to think him as. Or stop thinking about heaven and waters and all the rest of it as you've been trained and programmed to think. And we've all been programmed. And the program runs very, very deep. But anyway, I'll see you in the second half. Thank you. Oh, I didn't expect this many people, but he's still here. Thank you. Wow. Right, okay. Has everybody stopped talking? Can we have one talking in here, please? Say ta-ra, give your kisses out, and Shalamea, bugger off. Ta-ra. I'll speak to you later. Okay, ta-ra. Right, okay, we finished off with study to show thyself approved unto God, a workman that needeth not be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of the truth. And I just want to stress this right at the beginning again. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth. The highest claim. So what do you own? Nothing. Nothing. What do you have the right to own? Nothing. What do you profess to own? Your car, your children, your phone. No, you own nothing because everything comes from God. However, God has a duty, does he not? If you create something, what's the point of creating something if you don't give it the means to sustain that life that you've given it? So you've got a duty towards your creation, have you not? Yeah. You know. And, well, that duty has been fulfilled. But because of man's downfall and because of his greed, his envy, and his desire to make himself a god, we've lost everything. But that's changing right now as we speak. As we speak. We are on the 6th day, the back end of the 6th day. And tonight I'm hopefully going to explain how and why and where in that 6th day we are, because we're not far away from the day of rest. So the first 1,000 years, he brought light into the world. Light. Well, if you've got no consciousness, then you're said to be dark, are you not? If you've got no empathy for your fellow man, oh, he's a dark man, he's a dark character. You don't think about anybody else but yourself. That's evil, is it not? Yeah. Anyway, so God formed man. He didn't create man out of the dust of the ground. And breathed into his nostrils, and man became a living soul. He put light into him, right? And he placed him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it and have dominion. And Adam lasted 930 years. So he brought light. He brought light into the world. So there's man over there. I'm going to put some light. I'm going to bring him over here. I'm going to put some light into him. I'm going to breathe into his nostrils, and he's going to become a living soul. A living soul. Well, what do you mean, a living soul? Well, if man's over there and you're going to form him in your image, well, he's living over there. He had no soul. A living soul. So, he'd give him a living soul. Don't forget, this is the book of the law, and it's also about, well, law is about property. Who owns the property? All law is based on who owns the property. So he gave him a living soul, and he placed him in the Garden of Eden to dress it and keep it and have them in. Hold on a sec. So that means that there must have been dead souls. Yeah? There must have been men with dead souls because he'd given them a living soul. Is that right? Let's look at that again. He formed them. He didn't create them, he formed them from the dust of the ground. Well, dust. I can go deep and deep and deep into just one verse, but let's leave the dust apart for a moment. And he breathed into his nostrils, and man became a living soul. So man didn't have a soul, and he was dead before that. Surely to God that's right. What I'm saying is right. Well, a man can't be recognised in a court of law, you know that. If you're a man, you will not get seen in a court of law. I'm a man, really. Well, you're a person. A person is a man. A person is not a man. But unless you admit to being a dead soul, the judge can't do anything with you. Right? And I've proved that before in the past, have I not? Where I've been here, or those who've seen me here before, and I've said things like, the judge said, right, get out of my court, you've got no business here. And then sends a warrant out to the arrest of the same person. And then you get back in front of the court again and you say exactly the same thing. I say this, get out of my court. Can't do nothing with a man. He can do with a man who's got a dead soul, though. Well, what's a soul? Well, well, we think it's this thing inside us, don't we? This light that we have. Well, I suggest this, that word living soul has been purposely by the people who think they've got light inside of them. That's been purposely messed with, and that should actually say S-O-L-E. You've got to, I know I've got one sole trader in here, right? A sole proprietor, a sole trader. So there was dead souls. Well, what's a dead soul? Well, I'll tell you a dead soul. United Utilities are a dead soul, are they not? Are they not? They're sole traders. Well, public limited companies or whatever the case may be. It's still a dead soul. There's no life in it. The only life in it is it steals from us for working for it, and steals from us for giving it money, and steals from us for using its services. So I'm just suggesting that living soul, right, God placed into Adam so that he can be recognised in the world. He can do business. Anyway, he placed him in the Garden of Eden to dress and keep it, and we know the story of Adam and Eve. She tempts him to eat from the tree of knowledge. Well, he says, of every tree you may freely eat, including the tree of life. But that's another talk altogether, the tree of life and the tree of knowledge. But I'll just tell you this, the tree of knowledge of good and evil, well, good and evil is it lawful or is it non-lawful? Is it right or is it wrong? That's the tree of knowledge, which you can't eat from. You can't decide what's law and what's not law. I tell you what's law because I created you, and this is how it's going to be. Okay, and it's my property that you're using. I've got the right over total ownership of my creation, which is the planet Earth, which is everything else there. And you, I created you, and you follow my rules. Just like you, if you've got an unruly child in your house, you say, you obey by my bloody rules, this is my house and you are my son or daughter, and I will tell you what to do. Right? But of course Adam, loving Eve so much, or loving the woman, not Eve, she didn't become the woman until they started having children. Right? Sorry, she didn't become Eve until they started having children. That's why she called Eve. When she was carrying the first one, Adam said, I will call her Eve because she is the mother of all the living, not living souls, living. So from there onwards, they were kicked out of the garden, the Garden of Eden, away from all those denizens and citizens. Right? I'm sure if you've been studying this, free man on the land stuff and all that rubbish, right, that you go, oh yeah, denizen, and free man. And a free man, by the way, is a citizen, in case you don't know. So he became a living soul, and Adam kept his living soul status, but none of his children did. And he became the mother of all the living, those without a living soul, but they were living. And well, there we go. You shall from is law. You shall do this. You shall not do that. That is law. You don't do that, and you will do this. Adam died in the same day, because he said, if you die, if you eat from that tree, you'll surely die. And he died on day one, 930 years. That's in the first 1,000 years. Now, day two. Let there be, God call light, just bear with me. Right, day two. Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters. Well, Noah builds an ark. Did he not? This is day two, from 3000 BC to 2000 BC. Right bang in the middle. And he divided the waters from the waters. So So the waters under the heaven gathered into one place. This is day 3. So right, gather all them and put them over there. And the dry land is able to appear. Appear as what? Gathering the waters he calls seas. Holy See. Well, religions were around them, weren't they? They started making the religions around that time. And he separated the earth from the waters. And Moses come along with his laws for the Israelites. There's laws for the Israelites only. And, O Abraham, unto thy seed will I give this land. Day 4, great lights in the heaven and the stars. He divided light from the darkness as a light for day which is good, lesser light for the night which is evil. Jesus was born at the end of the 4th day and died, and the clock was reset to 0. That's why it's 2018 now. Right? Because something happened that Jesus did, right, on behalf of his Father, right, so that you could be forgiven for our Father's transgressions of the law. And day 5, the waters brought through waters, so the people brought moving creatures, and he created the great whales. Well, they're the kings, aren't they? The great kings. These are your King Charles and James and all the rest of it. And day 6, which is what we're in now, the earth is bringing forth living creatures. So the waters were not bringing forth anything then. 1000 to 2000, the earth starts bringing things forward. And at the end of the 6th day, which is the day the woman come around, right, he made man of male and female in God's image. Well, the satanic thing now is, only 100 years ago, they give women equal rights so that they could be formed in the country's image as well. They could have a franchise. What does it say? Oh God, I wanted to put that in the slide and I forgot about it. The equal rights franchise. So that women as well as men are assimilated into the franchise. Do you know what assimilated means? Anybody know what assimilated means? Assimilated means trained up in the mind, hypnotized. That's what it means. You know, the Borg went out and he assimilated everything he'd seen, right? The retraining the minds, the putting false programs into the brain. That's what's happening now. It happened 100 years ago as far as the suffragettes were concerned. But look at the things that are happening now. With the children, what's happening now, it's unbelievable. Anybody got any young children who going to school under the age of, say, 13? Or grandchildren? The programming that's going in them now is unbelievable. You know, you've got men dressed as women going into schools, teaching kids on how to act, and you can't call them boys and girls anymore. You've got to call them persons. One of the audience got a Father's Day card last year, and his daughter was told to put on a Happy Person's Day, not Happy Father's Day. Everything's going to be neutral, gender neutral. And if you don't follow our rules, well, we'll lock you up. We think it's best for them that they should be. Oh, hang on a sec. God created man and woman, both male and female. He created them. Well, what the heck's going on? Anyway, we don't know how big this gets. You know, Black's Law, Wales, well, I told you that. Now, General Registry Office, which we'll talk about more next week. The General Register does not register people. It only registers events. And if you go on the Freedom of Information website, there's been a number of people who include myself, and I showed you that in the last talk that I did. What do you register? Do you register the actual child that's being born, or do you what is it you register? And they come back and say, we do not register people. We only register events. Events. Well, a sec. What's that all about? What event are you registering? Why are you so interested in births? Well, I'm a bit ahead of myself because I missed a few slides off, obviously. So we listened to this woman called Eve, or our ancestors did, Adam, and she said we can eat from the tree of knowledge, because Satan was there, the serpent in the tree of the law, right? And says, you won't die. You won't die. Now, I think I've mentioned this before, what a serpent is. A serpent is a man that's hidden. Hidden. He's hiding himself. Right? And he's wise, and he's subtle, sly, wise, very wise. You know, like a master mathematician, a master barrister, a master of the rolls. You know, all these masters that are around. And on the advice of this serpent, the woman ate from the tree, but she never broke the law, because God didn't tell her, you can't do this. He only told Adam, and it was up to Adam to tell her, because she was Adam's property, right? So she was under her master's voice, if you like, but it was up to Adam to tell her, and he never told her. So she got thrown out as well. And of course the serpent, who was the one who suborned her into perjury, because that's what the serpent did. It enticed Eve, and knowing that Adam would eat as well, because he wanted to know. Oh, you won't, don't worry, you will not die, because God knows that in the moment that you eat thereof, you shall be as gods, and know the difference between good and evil. In other words, you shall know the law. If you eat from my tree here, you shall know the law. Well, if you know the law, then you can change it, can't you? Yeah. So this hidden man, or hidden group of men, this race, who caused all the devastation, like before day one, where God says, go and replenish the earth and subdue it. This serpent had almost destroyed the earth, and the earth was without form and void. Well, that's a legal term as well, because this is a book of the law, you know. This is all about law, nothing else. So it's been destroyed, or almost destroyed, right? So this evening, somebody's phone went off. It's throwing me. Sorry, excuse me. So this woman enticed Adam to eat from that tree. So Adam knows the law and thinks to be smarty. And Adam hid away in this garden, and God comes to see him. So where are you? Where are you? In the cool of the day. In other words, you give him a cooling off period. You know, like you go, somebody knocks on your door, say, would you like to buy this? And you say, yeah, it's fantastic. You know, Kirby vacuum cleaner or something. You know, and we've all seen them. I used to sell them. and of course, as a salesman, you're going, oh, don't change the mind, because they've got 14 days. It's probably only 5 now. But in a cooling off period, you can change your mind. That's why God went back in the garden and said, where are you? Where are you hiding from me? How can you hide from me? You know, in the cooler day. I've given you the cooling off period now. And, we're wearing this because you'll see us naked. In other words, he had naked possession. He didn't need a piece of paper to prove that it was theirs, right? But this, give it to me. You give your birthright to me, and I'll give you the piece of paper to prove that you still own it. But you don't really own it, because you've joined my family now. you join my nation. So that's why Adam died on the same day. Now, here we are on the 6th day, and we're all going, I own her. The free man on the land. Oh, no, you can't tell me what to bloody do. I'll do what I sod want. And I don't owe you this, and I don't owe you that, and blah, blah, blah. And you don't own anything, and this is my piece of land, sod off. I'll do what I want. I'm not interested in your law. In fact, I'll make the bloody law. I want common law. Common law has a Latin phrase, and that's what they're using against everybody, right? And common law, I'm not going to say what the phrase is, because there'll be free men out there as soon as you get this, if they were to ever get that phrase, whoa, crikey, God help us. Common law. Well, let's have a look at common law, shall we? It's as the people all as one together say. Is that not what common law is? Is what they all agree, what's the law? Is that right? Yes, it is. Is it written? Well, yeah, it is written as well. Because it gets written in the House of Commons. And in the House of Commons, you've got the father of the house. Right? He's the father of the House of Commons. And all laws come from the House of Commons. And it's all the people together voting for a politician who represents them in Parliament, in the House of Commons, and then it gets sent through to the House of Lords. And if the House of Lords say, no, you can't have that, it goes back to the Commons, and it goes back through again. Oh, all right then. Okay, you're persistent, you can have it. And then it then goes to wherever, and then gets the Queen's assent. Okay, that's the law you want, that's it. Because she promises to rule the people through their traditions and customs and whatever they want. Yeah, that's the law you want. I don't have to wear my seatbelt, but yeah, you know, you go ahead. There you go. And if you break the law, well, we're gonna fine you. And if you don't pay your fine, we'll come send the boys around, the Newlyn bailiffs, and we'll take your car away, or we'll take your telly, and or you know, if our costs go up enough, we might even take your house. And people, that's happened to people, even over a television licence. Well, that's what common law is. Common law is all the law that goes through the House of Commons. But the House of Commons aren't insisting in any of you. They're interested in big business. These are the souls. These are not the living souls. These are the souls that are dead souls, the big corporations. But it's all coming to an end. But we're all going to go through a time of shit. Right, we're all going through it now. Everybody I know, and I bet everybody out there, unless of course you've got a big stash put aside, about that if you have, because that'll disappear. We're all going through these pressures of worried about whether our interest rates are going up. Everybody's worried about this moving out of Europe, this so-called Brexit, which is a load of bull. Have you ever heard anything? The country's coming out of Brexit, we're coming out of Europe. Europe doesn't exist. The United Kingdom doesn't exist. It exists in here. And law, by the way, I might as well tell you, a month ago tomorrow, and 2 weeks ago tomorrow, I was at the Royal Court of Justice, and trying to get my property back. Obviously, there's something wrong I'm doing within the claim that I've got. It's only procedure I'm falling back on. There's nothing else, right? But has anybody been down to the Royal Court of Justice? Right, okay. Well, I'm not going to mention any justices' names, but 2 judges, High Court judges of the Queen's Bench. And the last time I was here, I think I'd just been down to the Royal Court of Justice again, and I got chased away, right, saying, this is the law in this court. Well, this time I was a bit more prepared. but not prepared enough, but it was prepared. And a month ago tomorrow, I was down there, and I said, I'm in front of a High Court Queen's Bench judge, and I said, this is all fraud, and you are acting in perjury, and everything that's going on here is against the law. You, Mr. Such and Such, Mr. is the best evidence of illegal fiction. Are you illegal fiction because you look like a bloody man to me? You know you're acting fraudulently. I know you are. You know you're lying. I know you are. You know you're cheating everybody in this court, and I know it. So let's get down and start administering the law, because that's your job. Do your job. Now, I don't know if anybody else has spoken to a judge like that before. I've no idea. I'm here. I'm here. Have a guess what the judge did? He shrugged his shoulders and he said, I don't have the authority to do that. He never said, contempt of court, send him down. The court rushes like that. What the heck's going on here? You can't speak to a judge like that. I'm in a different family, you see, than what you are. I left that family 3.5 years ago. I've got nothing to do with that family. And that family's got nothing to do with me. So, but the thing is, when your family start to steal things of mine, and they probably will, right? The law that you've got and the judges that you've got, I could get harmed by them badly. But there is, in this book here, tells me that I will be saved from any serious harm, right? And up to now, it's true, because I'm getting left alone. I've had council tax collectors and all that. And so I even had, back in November, and one of my neighbours was coming home from my friends in North Wales, coming through Llangollen, and one of my neighbours said, hey Tom, what? There's a matrix van outside your door and there's 6 coppers on your lawn. What? Well, there's nothing I can do about it. You know, I'm making my way home. I'm going to make this short, but 2 coppers came back 2 days later and said, are you Mr. Such and Such? And I said, no. Oh, well, are you such and such? I said, well, I go by the name of Thomas. Well, we're from the Metropolitan Police. Metropolitan Police? Who's the Metropolitan Police? I've never heard of him. And he said, no, not him. The Metropolitan Police. I said, never heard of him. Who is he? Well, it's not a man. Oh, it's one of those legal fictions that your family love to deal with. Anyway, we just want to ask you questions. Somebody asks questions, it doesn't mean to say I'm going to answer them. Well, we just need to, so you may need to ask, but doesn't mean to say I'm going to answer. In fact, I've got nothing really to say. Anything I say will be said to a judge. Well, you're not going to get to see a judge. Do you know why we're here? I said, no. It's because you sent a letter to the Queen. I said, no, I didn't send a letter to the Queen. I made a claim against the Queen. Big difference. I know that to be wrong, and that's not the right thing to do. But now, but at that time I didn't know. When you're not going to get to see a judge, you're going to have to go through a solicitor. And I looked at her and said, are you giving me legal advice? She said, no. I said, yes, you are. You just told me to go and see a solicitor if I want justice. That's legal advice. And he said, anyway, he said, who's he? Who's that guy there? And he shoves this badge in front of me. And it's Sefton Mental Health Assessor. Right. I went, oh, I'm not speaking to you. Sod off. I'm not going to bloody say a word to you. We just want to ask you a question. I said, no, sod off. I'm not answering your questions. Bugger off. I know what you're capable of, you lot. I've seen what happened to me mum when she was alive. With all this flaming ECG. What is it? You know, the electric shock treatment and all that. Yeah, you know all that stuff. You know, like one flew over the cuckoo's nest stuff. Anyway, and I said, don't come back, piss off. So the next day, the same two come back, and I said, I told you yesterday, go away and don't come back. Just want to ask you a question. But I said, well, ask away. I might answer, I might not. And he said, have you ever had any thoughts of harming yourself or anybody else? I said, I'll answer that with this. Do I look as though I've got thoughts about harming myself or anybody else? And I said, and that's how I answered, so go away. Oh, well, I'm referring this to my supervisors. Do what you bloody want. The next morning, I got a phone call. And, hello, my name's blah, blah, blah. One of my colleagues had asked me to have a chat with you, this time another, blah, blah, we need to. I said, oh, look, you may very well need to assess my mental health, but I'm not from your family, blah, 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 blah. And she said, well, I need to. I said, look, okay, rather than me answer any questions, let me explain a few things to you. 40 minutes later, she said, wow, thank you so much. You will not be hearing from this office anymore. Never have I spoken to anybody or met anybody as well read, as intellectual, and there's nothing wrong with your mental health. I said, I know that. It's just like all the rest of them bloody nutcases, they don't know what they're doing. Anyway, I'm not hearing from them, so they played the mental health card on me. That didn't work. I've been down to the Royal Court of Justice twice in the last month, doing the same sort of stuff with 2 High Court judges, and accused them of theft, fraud, perjury. I'm still here. They never locked me up. They just got up and walked out of the court. Wow, that's some power. And why is that? Because I've been baptised and I don't have a civil life anymore. I don't profess to be part of that family. I don't want citizen rights. I do not want equals rights. I want my God-given rights only. And you can't be in one family and in the other at the same time. I don't own anything. I don't profess to own anything other than the 10 Commandments. Right? I don't have a job. I can't even get a job. I couldn't have a job if I wanted one. I don't want one, like, but I couldn't have one. This is my job. Now, going around speaking to people who will listen. There's not many of you about who'll actually listen, and even less of you who actually take up the challenge of reading the book of the law, the most valuable thing that this world affords, and it is. It is, the lively oracles of God, and your legal system takes notice of it and can take notice of nothing else without your consent. But if you're a citizen and you've got a graven image, which is your birth certificate, your token, more of that next week, your legal system will come down on you like a ton of bricks unless you follow their rules in every way. So the likes of saying things like, and criticising these transvestites who are going around teaching little innocent children in our schools or your schools, if I was to say that publicly, my God, they'd come on me like a ton of bricks. But here I am, I'm saying it. This will probably go on the internet or whatever, and I don't really care. Right? Which is why I've kept names back, by the way, to protect the... Well, they're not innocent, actually. Protect the names of judges. They're not innocent. They're as guilty as sin, just like the rest of the family. But you don't know what's going on. It's not your fault, because you've never read the law. And getting involved in the law of man, There's 579 statutes and 10 commandments in that book. Here's a law you're probably not aware of. Anybody here got a car? Anybody drive here tonight? Did you know you broke the law coming here? Did you know that you can get fined now and brought before the magistrates for breaking the law and driving your car? In one particular case, you've caused 4 offences even while you're sitting here. And those 4 offences are, you are driving that car with pneumatic tyres on it. It's against the bloody law. You can't do that. You cannot have a car with pneumatic tyres on. Did you know that? That's it. So you're guilty of 4 offences just by sitting in here now. That's a law that's never been amended. It's still running now. Now, how are you going to know that law if it's not read to you? Do you ever get the law read to you? Do you ever get the document saying, right, here's the Road Traffic Act. There's a copy of it. Read it, and if you break that law, you're in trouble. You never get that, do you? You never get that law. Well, if you don't know the law, you're not responsible for breaking it. How can you be responsible for breaking it if you don't know the law?
I'm assuming the police officers don't know that.
Oh, they haven't got a clue. Police.
You can actually prosecute for having unequal tire pressures.
Yeah, there's all sorts of things.
It's still to do with air, isn't it?
The very fact of you being in your car, you're breaking the law anyway because you've got a licence. And a licence is permission to break the law. That's what a licence is. I'm going to break the law and I've got permission to break the law. That's why they can get you on any flaming thing they want to. They'll find a way to get you. If you get an obstreperous copper who really wants to go back to the station because it's snowing and piddling down and all the rest of it, he'll find something wrong with your car or you, right? To say, right, I'll go home and do some paperwork. Friend of mine, very good friend, no names, no pack drill, no references. Before Christmas, he, in front of 2 witnesses, he was approached by 2 Liverpool Port Authority police. And one of the coppers says, asked him a question. He said, I don't answer questions. And you know what the copper said to him? He said, well, you better add, because if you don't, I'll arrest you and your 2 mates with you. Me, I was there. And somebody else was there, but I don't. Anyway, they ended up stealing his car. Stole it. He's not in your family either. He's changed his family. And we've put 2 letters in to the courts, to the magistrates, saying that he's had his property stolen because he's following this law, not that family law, but this family law, the peculiar family, instead of the imagination family. And up to now, the courts haven't responded apart from go and see the IPCC, the Independent Police Complaints Commission. Well, we know how fraudulent they are, don't we? We know what happened at Hillsborough and all the rest of the things that go on there. Well, hold on a sec. 2 policemen stole my car, and you want me to go back to the policeman to make a complaint against them? How can you get justice? You can't get justice in your own system. And up to now, I've not been able to get justice in the system of God, right? Because your system is in front of it, blocking the way. And all your judges, up to now, are ignoring everything I'm doing. And they're ignoring it. They're not denying it, they're just ignoring it. There's a thing in the Freedom of Information Act which states neither confirm nor deny. So if any Freedom of Information request goes in there, which could be against the public interest, they will not confirm nor deny. They will not answer you in any way whatsoever to a conclusion you can say, well, yeah, that's right, or no, that's wrong. if they do answer you, it'll be in a way as though they've never heard the question. La 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 la. They're just, what you're involved with is total criminal, every one of you. And I'm not saying it's your fault, but the thing is, there's only us people here, and we vote these bastards in. Sorry to use that language, but that's exactly what they are. They're bastards. We vote, or you vote them in, and you obey them. In other words, worship them. And the reason why you do is because they've got control of your mind. And they use that control of your mind by you seeing things that aren't there, i.e. Merseyside police, Fylde police, Lancashire police. Lancashire police don't exist. There's only men and women on this earth that can use their authority over you. Now, they have no authority over you. There's no man in this room or out there has authority over me, is there? I can't have authority over you, and you can't have authority over me. You can't, because we're all born equal, right? But if one of you lot does something out there and a policeman comes, you're quaking because he's got a suit on or because he shows you a badge. He's a man, and he was born the same way you were, under the same rules that you were, right? And you've given your power away to this thing that doesn't exist called the United Kingdom, or Britain, or England, or Liverpool, or Blackpool, or Pontley Fylde, or wherever it is you think you live. Pontley Fylde does not exist. You know, 2 Acacia Avenue does exist because you can actually touch it. You can actually, it's the name of a place. Liverpool doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Like 4 Albert Schweitzer Avenue exists because you can actually walk down it. But you can't walk down Liverpool. It's just a fictitious name. It's what's called an additional name, which is basically a fiction attached to something that's real. And by attaching a fiction to something that's real, the fiction then becomes real. Have a look at search this book and search your law dictionary. You know, now listen, I just want to read this now. What time are we? Okay.
10:10.
Is it really? I'll just read this and then I'll finish, because I know we finish at 10, don't we? Right, okay. This is the constitution of us men, or male and female men, that's what we are, right? And God spake these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. You can put UK or Britain in there, or England. Right? Thou shalt not have any gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto any graven image. That's a birth certificate, because it's a dead image. Or any likeness of anything that is in the earth beneath, or is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity upon the fathers and children, the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me, and show mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord God in vain. Now that doesn't mean, oh God, doesn't mean that. Doesn't mean that. If you want me to explain next week what these mean, we're all trained into thinking it means something, and it doesn't actually mean this. Remember the Sabbath day, keep it holy. No, let's go to football on a Saturday. Let's play soccer. Sockage. If anybody's read the Law Dictionary, have a look at the word sockage. 6 days shalt thou labour and do all thy work, but on the 7th day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy God. In it thou shalt do anywhere, not do anywhere. Now, wouldn't it be great if everybody had Saturday off? wouldn't it? You wouldn't have to go to shops to bloody Asda or Morrison's if you're married. What a pain in the arse that is for men. Right? Nor thy son, nor thy daughter, or thy manservant, or thy maidservant, nor thy cattle. You can't have your machines running. Nor thy stranger that is in thy gates. For in 6 days the Lord made heaven and earth, the sea and all that's in them, and rested the seventh day. There's only a few lines more. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Honour thy father and the mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord God, thy God giveth thee. Thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not commit adultery, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not... What's adultery? Adultery is corruption, corrupting anything. You know, turning a man into a legal fiction. Right? Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbour. They shall not go into court and say, I seen him do it. That's bearing false witness. Or, you know that Billy is a bastard between yourselves. Well, that's not bearing false witness. You bear false witness in a court. That's when you bear witness to something. You're doing that in a court. Okay. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbour's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, his car, his wagon, nor his ass, his motorbike or whatever, nor anything that thy neighbour's. And all the people saw the thundering lightnings, blah, blah, and all this, and they all said, we'll do that. And then they whoops, then they went ahead and broke the first 4 commandments. I'm not having, I can't sit there on a Saturday and do no work. I've got to go shopping, or I'm going to football, or oh no, I've got to obey this God, because if I don't obey this God, he's going to give me a £60 fine. Because he said I can only do 50 miles an hour on that smart motorway, whereas 3 years ago I could do 70. So man changes the law just like that, at whim of who? At whim of the populace that go around to see the politicians every day and say, hey, they're going too fast down that bloody road, you know. The lanes are too narrow to accept 70 miles an hour. All right, but the man who's happy with still going on 70 miles an hour doesn't go around to his politicians and say, hey, you better keep it at 70. Never mind what he says. So what did he do? They change it. They do not change the law in this country or any other country on the basis of majority. It's only the people who go to see these people, these representatives. And the people that go to see these representatives isn't your general man like you. It's these corporations. That's what's happened up the road at your fracking place. It's the big corporations who said, here, Mr. Politician, stick that in your pocket and pass that so we can go on fracking. And because he's getting a bigger wedge, your voice means nothing. Your government is absolutely 100% corrupt. But I don't know who said it. The people deserve the government that they get. Or the government they get, the people deserve, whichever way around it is, it doesn't matter. Right? Now, do you deserve this lot that's going on? I'm not saying protest. No. I mentioned about suicide, didn't I, last time I was here? The suicide. It's also against, it's against legal, it's not law. It's against legal, it's actually lawful for me to encourage. Did you know that? But it's illegal for me to encourage suicide. You know, Jesus says, come out of here, my people, be not partakers of their sins and their iniquities. He's talking about your nation. That's what he's talking about, or he was talking about. That's your biggest problem. Your biggest problem is that legal fiction you carry and bear. I don't bear it anymore, and I don't carry it. I have nothing to do with it. Which is why I can't have a driving license, can't have a passport.
Sure, he said, come out of them, my people, that was referring to Babylon.
Yeah, what do you think you're in?
Pardon?
What do you think you're in? What do you think you're in? You're in Babylon.
That's not the meaning of the word nation.
Babylon. Lon. What does lon mean?
Well, the word Babylon means a different gateway to God, because they were
Well, Babylon. Babylon. No, baby. Babylon.
Might work in English, but excuse me, this is the...
There's two words there. There's Babylon,
Yes, I know.
right? Well, lon actually means father. That's what lon means. Oh, sorry. Yeah, lon means father. Babylon, London. Oh, sorry, it's Don that means father. Babylon, Lon means fire, and Don means father. I'm sorry, I got it the wrong way round. So you got father fire, and baby fire. So London is father fire, and baby is child fire. The Babylon has grown up now, and it's a father of millions. There's 64 million people in this country registered as that. Right? And it's the father. It's your father or your mother. You know, Nazis called it the fatherland, did they not? And of course, it's called the motherland here, but it doesn't matter. They are using the law of family as you being their children. You know, are you a child of Blackpool? Yeah, you know, did you say it's the motherland? It's not your mother. How can a country give birth to anything? How can the Crown, through a birth certificate, give birth to a physical being? It can't. But so if it can't, then why do they take your children off you if you don't do what that school says? So it's putting itself in the place of a father or a mother, whichever way you want to look at it. And Babylon was only just growing then. Now it's huge. And it goes for any country. Anybody who's a member of a country is a pagan. Anybody who is a pagan practices the occult. And they bring into existence what isn't real. It's an illusion. And we all bring in to existence the birth of this new being which was created when our mothers and fathers registered they don't register the event of the birth of the baby a few days before. They register the event of the birth of a new being on the day that you were registered. And they give you a copy. There's proof it's ours now. And it's a token of something else. And I'm not going to go any further into that this week. But anybody who's a member of a country is a pagan. That's what countryman is. Pagan man. Look it up in the dictionaries. And there's more next week, but I'm going to go into next week your registration process, your bankruptcy, and a few of the other silly laws you've got. I mean, you've seen the equal rights talk it did. You know, that you're all devils. Has anybody not seen that talk a couple of weeks ago? Have you got copies of it on there? If you haven't got copies of that, if you haven't seen it, it's on the internet, I know that, right? Have a look at it. And in your own legislation, the Equality Act of 2010, it states that you're all devils. You're all devil. Why? The government is calling you a devil. That's unbelievable, isn't it? And you have devil's advocates, which you call solicitors, and barristers. And you can go in as a barrister, you can go in for a course of deviling. Well, you can. Anyway, thank you very much for listening. I'm well over time. And I hope you'll come back next week, because what I'm going to be talking is about all your law and how that equates to these 6 days. We are on the 6th day now. God's now starting to create man in his own image. Right? I go in the image of God. Everybody here, apart from one, goes in the image of the country, because you bear your image with your driving licence, with your passport, with your checkbook or your banker's card. That's an image of a country. Right, so anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Tony.